Hello, everyone. Welcome to the RC Plane Lab podcast. I'm Ron.
And I'm Tom. So we're on YouTube.
This is exciting.
This is new.
This is weird.
Forgive us if you're watching us for the first time, because we're watching us for the first time.
This is extremely odd, by the way.
Yeah,
like I don't know where to look.
Ron is really uncomfortable.
It's just awkward.
So if you normally listen to us on your podcasting app and you want to watch us on YouTube, head on over to rcplanelab.com. That's our website. And you can click that YouTube link that should be right at the top. Is that where you're going to put it?
It's up there somewhere.
Yeah, just click the YouTube link and you'll be able to look at our ugly faces now instead of just listening to us.
Yeah, exciting. I know. For us, it's exciting. I don't know about anybody else.
It's pretty exciting.
That's
cool. One word for it.
Yeah.
So why we're coming to you today is we flew the Duellists. Finally.
Finished.
Yeah, we can actually say, not like the Trash Can Telemaster project, but these projects are finished.
I forgot about the Trash Can Telemaster. We need to get back on that one these days.
Yeah, when we get some decent weather.
Oh, that's what we're blaming it on?
Well, that's what I'm going to blame it on.
It's been 6 months, but that's okay.
So if you've been listening to our podcast, thanks. But if you haven't been listening to our podcast, this is going to be basically the wrap up for our Yeah, I can't say that word. Long Duelist airplane builds that Ron and I have been doing together separately.
We each built our own.
So, yeah.
2 airplanes.
So the project, we'll talk a little bit about the project. It's a project that we started back in March, April, something like that. And it started with a conversation that you and I had.
I think it was like July or August.
Was it? Did we? Well, I mean, I guess, did the project start when we downloaded the plans? Or did it start when we actually bought our first materials to start the project?
I think it started in earnest when we decided to do it.
So I guess you're right. I guess that was probably, let's just say July. Okay.
I'll go with July.
So yeah, actually started gluing balsa together in September because I have pictures to prove that. And the pictures are on our build log on our website. But anyway, the project started with basically a conversation. I don't know. In a prior episode, I was talking about a Duelist that I had back in the mid-90s.
Back when?
That was given to me by a friend who had a fuel-soaked airframe, but he gave it to me and it was basically ready to fly. Had the engines, had the retractable landing gear, had all that stuff.
And he just gave it to you?
He did. He just gave it to me. He didn't feel like messing with it. The airframe was fuel-soaked, like I said, so it was probably not long for this world. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So I took the airframe, took all the stuff out of it, stripped the covering off of it. At that time, it was fabric. It had been fiberglassed and painted.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yep, true story.
Unless I forgot about it.
I'm not sure if I may not have mentioned it, but yeah, it was actually fiberglassed and painted.
Wow.
But yeah, somehow the fuel and oil had managed to seep under the covering and soak the airframe. So there's a product called K2R. It's actually a carpet cleaner. It's really good. If you spray that on balsa, it will actually sort of draw the oil out of the balsa, which is kind of a neat little trick. So I rehabbed the airframe, recovered it, and I crashed it.
You?
Yeah.
You crashed it.
I failed to do a pre-flight, which we always preach on our show. Pre-flight. Yeah. So I failed to do a pre-flight and I crashed it. And there was a conversation we had that how I really missed that airplane. And actually it was your idea. You said, you know what? You should build another one.
I did, because I'm sick of people just talking about stuff. Let's make it happen, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yep. And so then I convinced you to build one also.
Yeah.
So then we decided we would build 2 Duelists. And this was your first plans build.
I was going to call it the Dueling Duelists.
The Dueling Duelists, that's right. But
yeah.
I think there may have been, you were going to title one of the episodes that, if I recall correctly.
Maybe it's this one now.
Hey, that can't be this one, because this is like the Duelist wrap-up.
The Dueling Duelist wrap-up. Oh, we'll figure it out.
The DDWR or DDWU. I don't know. I'm an idiot. So
what's the R?
I was thinking WR because WR is like the first 2 letters of the word rap.
Ooh, okay.
I'm an idiot. What can I say?
Oh, wait, no, you're not. No, you're smart.
I was not fishing for a compliment, but thanks or affirmation. That's it. So yeah, we started the project. I decided to start with Dave Platt's Mark II plans instead of the original Duelist 240 plans. And the reason I chose that set of plans was because number one, the Mark II has a slightly longer wing.
69 inch as opposed to 67.
Exactly.
Because bigger is better.
Bigger is better. We say that a lot, but it's true. The bigger they are, the better they fly.
The better they fly.
That was reason number one. And reason number two was the Mark II version was much simpler to build because it has all of the thrust angles and the wing incidents and the horizontal stab incidents. It's all set at 0. So it's all built nice and square. So that's why I chose that plan, but quickly discovered after we printed the plan that there was some things wrong.
There were quite a few things wrong, actually, and it led me to build 3 wings.
It did. Well, it wasn't necessarily the plan that caused you to build 3 wings, was it?
I built per the plan, so
yeah, but
why not?
The plan doesn't say to build warp into the wing.
I built warp into the wing because the plans were incorrect. So the wing spars on the wing, or on the wing spars on the wing on the plan, the notches for the... Wait, I said that wrong. I always do that. The wing ribs...
You were so close, though.
I was so
you
close.
Really were.
The wing...
You almost had it.
Ribs... See, I've got to think when I say this now.
Yeah.
The wing ribs on the plan were drawn with the spar notches not lined up right.
Exactly.
So because of that, and because of how we cut them with the laser cutter, they were cut exactly to plan with no fudge room, and that's what made me have a wing that was warped.
Funny story. I actually may or may not have mentioned before you framed up wing number, was it? It may have been before the 3rd one. So you may have already learned by then. But I think I may have said how I had to trim my spar notches so that I wasn't putting my spar and trying to force it in there because, what happens.
You told me that after number 2.
Okay.
Because number 1, I actually broke when I was practicing doing the vacuum bagging.
That's right.
On it. So that's why I decided to start over on that one. However, after I did the second one and it was warped, that's when you gave me the brilliant idea of, not just forcing the balsa in it.
Yeah.
I'd never done it before. I didn't know.
That's true.
I figured it was supposed to go in there lined up right. So you just kind of push it in with a bigger hammer and make it
It was your
stick.
first plans build. So, I can't fault you for that. And that's probably some information I probably should have given you beforehand, but you have built a kit before or two.
You always fault the teacher, not the student.
Oh, so it is my fault. Okay. Well, that's fine.
No, I should have known. I mean, really, but now I do. And now the plans that we have drawn are correct.
Yeah. And we drew plans because, as you alluded to, we got a laser cutter, which was something we,
had to have. Maybe, but it was a tool that we hadn't really, or at least I hadn't really thought about needing until we decided to do this. And man, having a laser cutter certainly makes the process of creating your own kit, essentially, is what we did. Yeah.
So much easier than hand cutting ribs and formers and things like that. I mean, I think you would agree.
Oh, I would not have done it if I had to cut them all out by hand. Like, honestly, that's not to sound bad, but that's too much work.
Yeah. So once we had the plans chosen and fixed, thank you, after kind of a cursory look at them, you decided that didn't look like it'd make a bad electric conversion.
Yeah. I knew from the very beginning that I wanted to do something a little bit different because building the exact same plane is kind of weak. I mean, why have 2 of the exact same thing?
I could see that.
I like to be a little bit different. And I'm not a big nitro
fan.
fan.
You do like to be different.
I take that as a compliment. But
It's a
I don't
compliment.
know if that's how it was meant.
Yeah, it's a compliment.
But I like electric because I'm not a big nitro fan. So electric seemed like the only way to go. So electric tail dragger because I didn't want to deal with the retracts either. And that's where mine was born. Yeah. So you took some artistic liberty from the sacred Dave Platt Mark II plan.
I did.
And I took almost no liberties. Like I built mine almost exactly.
Did not. Yeah.
Almost exactly. I did have to make some changes. I wanted a little bit longer gear because we fly off of grass, which looking back, I probably didn't need to add as much gear as I added.
You have about 14 inches of ground clearance underneath your tail.
It's up there.
It's,
but if I decide
I'm not making
to put
that up, by the way, you
No,
have
you're
like
not.
14 inches.
but if I decide to re-engine it and put bigger props on it, I got plenty of room. Plenty of room to put I could probably put 12-inch props on this thing now and not have any trouble. But yeah, for the most part, mine is built per the plan to include the engine, 2 nitro engines, retractable landing gear, the whole schmozzle. So,
Schmozzle.
yep, schmozzle. So since you went electric and I went nitro, mine ballpark ended up being about just shy of $1,000.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that expensive.
Yeah.
I'm less than half of that.
Really?
Yeah.
So
What did you spend your money? I mean, like, what made it so expensive?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we've got probably about the same amount of money in balsa, roughly, I would say, because we built them nearly the same.
I'm going to be a little bit less than you on that one too.
Okay,
but yeah,
but
pretty
not
close.
not $500 less.
Probably about $20 less.
So what have you got in the let's say the motors and speed controllers?
Motors I paid $23 a piece for, and I think speed controllers were about $30 to $35, so $70.
$23. Hold on, $23 for the motors?
Yeah, Amazon special. Nothing great, but they work wonderful.
Wow.
So what is that? 70, 90, $110 for 2 motors and speed controllers.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm probably, if you factor in the 2 engines I have, the tune pipes, the headers, props and spinners, fuel tanks, fuel line, throttle servos. So I'm probably double that. I'm probably right at, I'm right at $300 right there. Just there's
Wow.
Yeah, there's 150 difference just right there. Wow. What kind of servos did you use?
El Cheapos that I already had. I mean, like,
But I mean, like if somebody, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, nothing special. Just, I think I had, was it High Tech maybe? Or Spectrum? I don't remember what they were, honestly. They're ones I pulled out of a different plane.
I gotcha.
But they're not high dollar servos. They were $15, $16 a piece.
Okay. So like I used what I thought were like mid-level, mid-grade servos, and I went with High Tech 5645s, which are $39 a piece. And I have
so that's quite a bit more than mine.
Yeah, and I have 6 of those. Yeah, 6 of those plus a High Tech 225 for the retract actuator that moves the valve. So that's
you have seven servos in your airplane.
Yeah, 7.
Wow.
Yeah, and you've got
have 4.
4.
I have 6.
Wait a minute. You have 6.
I have 4 that are necessary.
Okay.
Like, so on mine, I ended up, because I like to be different too. The pilots that I have in there, first off, it's Forky and Duke Kaboom from Toy Story 4, because
pretty
Forky
cool,
is
actually.
awesome. And both of those have a servo on them because they do turn when you steer the plane. But that's not even necessarily necessary, if that makes sense, because I would say I would have 4 servos in that plane.
Totally worth the weight penalty, I think.
Well, because those are like, those servos are $1.99 or something like that. It was like a 20-pack on Amazon for under $20.
I mean, if it's less than $5, you just may as well say free.
Yeah. So,
I mean, really.
Well, then each piece of balsa was free too then, right?
In this hobby, yeah. I mean, well, I guess when you compile it and aggregate it, yeah, maybe you can't call it free.
But no, so...
Yeah, so I have roughly $300 worth of servos in my airplane.
Man.
And those are, like I said, I went with because you can spend way more than $40 on a servo.
Yeah, so I'm going to say I have $0 because I already have them. But if not, I'll give you $60.
Well, there's $200, $220 right there.
My gosh.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, 220 there and the 150 in the engines, we're almost there.
That's pretty close.
Yeah. I mean, what else would there? Oh, well, I have the retractable gear. So that was about, I'm going to
ballpark it and say $110. Hey, funny story about the gear. So the nose gear that's on my airplane that we flew today is the nose gear that was on my original Duelist from 1995.
So that's all that made it across? Because you had a Duelist bucket. I remember that was the whole impetus behind this.
Yeah, the Duelist bucket I had for many, many years, and it was all the leftover pieces from that crash because I failed to do a pre-flight. Ailerons were reversed.
All because you didn't do that so many years ago.
So many years ago.
Made me build this airplane.
You know what's funny is I've made that same mistake since. So, I mean, take that for what it is.
I haven't. I don't understand that. Like, I guess when I started in the hobby, I just got in the habit of doing a pre-flight every single time.
Which is good.
It's habit before you take off every flight.
Yeah.
It's so
I mean,
much
I even
easier
did it recently. Remember? We were flying the little Sandpipers out. Anyway, getting off topic.
That was a while ago, but yeah.
So yeah, the nose gear is original. Well, from the original Duelist, and the headers and tuned pipes and one of the engines are from the original Duelist.
I don't think I knew the engine was from the original Duelist.
One of them is. Yeah, the kind of ugly one, the darkish color one that I'm not real happy with the appearance of. That one's from the original Duelist, and also the wheels.
Let me give you a little secret. I didn't notice any difference in the motors today.
Oh, good.
So don't worry about it.
Oh, that makes me happy.
I'm not very observant though, so if I'm the bar you wanna hit, you hit that very well.
Okay.
No, but it looks good though. I really like your airplane.
Oh, well, thank you. So yeah, that's the difference in cost. So much cheaper to go electric, I guess is what we're saying.
Yeah. Well, and I think there was a little difference in covering too, wasn't there? Because what did you use on yours?
So yeah, I used mostly monocoat. And I did use a little bit of the, I call it China coat, but it's the new cover or new coat. The same stuff that you just recently bought.
Yeah, I bought some stuff from Value Hobby, and it was awesome.
By the way, yeah, completely compatible with monocoat. I'm just saying, the new cover, the China coat, at least the stuff that I used, the seams stick to monocoat sticks to it. I mean, for the price, you can't beat it.
No
kidding. You really can't beat it.
It was $15 for a 16-foot roll.
And you used the metallic stuff and didn't have any trouble with the metallic stuff either.
I used metallic silver, I used metallic blue, and I also used the carbon fiber one on mine, and no issues at all.
I got to be honest, I really kind of thought the carbon fiber was going to be ugly.
I did too.
I really did, but like seeing it in person, it actually looks really neat.
Yeah, I like it. It's different.
But you didn't overdo it. Like you didn't cover the whole airplane with it.
Well, a lot of it. Let's just say the roll of carbon fiber one is what I have least of now. So I'm going to have to buy another roll.
Oh, okay.
Because I need
anyway, I like it. I was skeptical. I didn't think I thought it was going to look silly, but it really doesn't. It looks pretty neat actually.
Yeah, thanks. I like
especially in the sun, like when the sun hits it and that blue.
Today was the first time I've ever seen it in the sun. And yeah, I liked it.
Right.
It was pretty cool.
So the original plan was to finish these Duelists and fly them, have them ready to fly and fly them on January 1st.
Yeah, because we always go out to the field on January 1st.
Right.
And we figured that was a good time to try and make this happen.
Yeah, because when we actually came up with that deadline, we felt that we had enough time left to finish them, and then also it would be somewhat meaningful to test fly these things on January 1st to kind of kick off the new year and make it kind of special.
That
didn't happen.
No, not even close.
So it started with an ice storm.
Ice storm was on Friday.
Yep. And then we had snow.
We had snow on Sunday, which is when we were planning on doing it. Was our backup date.
And then I got sick.
And then you got sick.
Yeah.
So we were
it wasn't
supposed
COVID.
to have...
I'm okay. It was just one. Let everybody know I'm fine. It wasn't COVID. It was just some stomach bug or something. But it had me down for like 4 days.
Yeah, and cranky, let me tell you.
A little cranky.
No, we were supposed to have like a half inch or an inch of snow that Saturday night and a Sunday. So we figured no big deal.
Yeah, half inch of snow is not a big deal.
5 inches of snow.
Yeah.
5 inches is what kind of told us we weren't going to be doing it. So that's what pushed us back almost 2 full weeks, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we're done. We flew them.
We did.
I'm happy about that.
Yep. Flew them today. Flew them successfully multiple times.
Multiple
today.
Fun flights.
So I got to be honest with you.
Even though it's weird. Even though I've been looking forward to this day for quite some time. I mean, my airplane was finished. Mine was finished right before Christmas. Like I think it was around the 24th or 25th, something like that, when I actually could call mine finished.
Yeah, I was nowhere near there. Like
you were just a few days behind.
I was ahead of you for the longest time. And like I kept you behind me on purpose for the longest time because
you're competitive.
Well, no.
Well, yeah,
maybe because you needed parts cut, and it wasn't like I was purposefully doing it, but I was busy doing mine, so I didn't have time to cut your parts. So
right. No, I got it. I figured. I mean.
But let me tell you, like you hit me at the end and you just passed me and you didn't look back.
Well, I was really fortunate. We were doing some telework at work. So in between working, I could get some stuff done. So I was fortunate in that regard. And plus there was a couple of weekends there where I had some long weekends with the holidays. Yeah. So I was able to get some stuff done there too. Thanks to Lori for letting me do that, by the way.
Oh God, whatever. Just because she's sitting here doesn't mean you have to thank her for giving you time. You're an adult. Anyway.
I would have thanked her anyway.
I don't know about that. So yeah, when you passed me, like I said, you were finished. And I had so many things. Like I had several things that I was putting off because I didn't want to do it. The biggest one was I didn't want to make the canopy. Like I knew my canopy was not going to be easy to do.
Yes.
And there was just such a long list of things that I needed to do, and I did not want to make the canopy. Luckily.
Yeah, we really kind of ran into some good luck here.
So I hadn't planned on making a trip up to Dynamic Balsa, but it got to the point. It got to the point where we needed a few things, and we had to do a last-minute trip up there. I had started to work on the plug to make a canopy for my my Duelist. For my canopy, plug for my canopy.
For your Duelist canopy?
That's what I was going for.
There you go.
And I didn't get it finished, but I got it good enough to where I was like, if we're going up there, I'm going to see if he will make one for me on his Vacuform machine and just kind of see what we can get it to fit, hopefully. So we went up there, and he was nice enough to run me a couple of them. Yeah, it's not as good as I wanted it to be, but it worked.
It's not.
And that took a lot off my shoulder.
I think it looks good, honestly.
I don't like it. I mean, it's completely on me because I didn't have the fit right with the plug. But I could do better, and I probably will eventually do a little bit better. But I'm so glad to have that finished. He took a lot of work off my shoulders. And I think because of that, I was able to get finished in time. And by in time, I mean I was kind of late. I was still working on it on the first. But
but that's only because you knew the weather was going to be garbage, and you knew we weren't going to be flying on the first.
I took a night off.
So you took a night,
Those last couple of weeks, though, it was like any moment I had not doing anything else was just working on the Duelist.
Me too. I mean,
it was.
You can ask Lori; she's sitting right there. But
is that what it was like?
Every spare minute I had, I was downstairs working on that. Man, but once I had the momentum going, man, it was hard not to work on it because I was making such progress every night.
Seeing it, yeah. And that always makes it easier to go back and work on it more.
It does. And you know what? We chose this airplane because of the way we chose it, but
yes, we chose it because of the way we chose it.
Well, what I'm getting at is we could have chosen something easier.
Well, yeah, you led me astray on that one too, I think.
I mean,
but trial by fire, that's for sure.
To build a Duelist from plans is not something that most first-time plans builders usually try to accomplish.
Had I known what I was getting into, I might not have. But I'm glad I did. Like, honestly, it was a difficult build, but it's not so difficult.
And think about everything that you've learned.
The hard way. By doing it and then having you come over and be like, why you do it like that?
I should have told him.
Yeah. You did it that way as you look so like disgusted at it.
I was giving you more credit, I guess, than you deserved. I figured you would, since you had built a couple of kits, I thought, I
built one kit.
Well, no, that's not true. You built a Cavalier.
I did.
And then half of a Cub.
I wouldn't even say half of a Cub. That was, I glued a few sticks together and thought, nah. No, actually, that one stopped because I bought a cub and I didn't need a cub
that's
anymore.
right.
So
That's right.
that one just kind of, and actually some of those sticks went into the Duelist.
Oh, well, that's handy.
Yeah.
So now you can't finish that cub.
Oh, I didn't plan on finishing that cub. Like I already got
Why'd
rid
you
of
start it?
Well, because at that time I planned on finishing it, but by the time I took the sticks out of it to use on this, I didn't plan on using it.
Makes perfect sense.
There's those disapproving eyes. So today went well, though, I thought.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it didn't start well. Like I was really nervous at the start because if you recall, I had not run the engines on my particular airplane together on the airframe until today. So I went there a little bit early.
Yeah, I said let's meet there at 2, and I got a text from you at noon saying I'm on my way out.
Well, I just really, really, really wanted to get the engines ran because I had not run them on the airplane together with that fuel system. So yeah, I got there a little bit early. And then, so yeah, I still had not ran them when you got there. And I was really, really, really focused on trying to get them started because I was having some difficulty to get them started.
Like you were not in a great mood when I got there.
Well, you know, I know it appeared that I was not, I was actually in a good mood. I was just really, really concerned, focused, worried, not mad.
So many emotions that looked like mad, but not mad apparently.
But not mad.
Angry,
maybe.
Disdainful for me when I said hello.
Disdainful.
I got the stare.
The stare. So yeah, I had a lot going on upstairs here. You know, when you got there, but yeah, I had to do something I don't normally like to do with my nitro engines. I had to use the electric starter today.
And that was difficult in itself because you didn't have all the stuff with you that you needed to
Well, I had the electric starter.
You did. That's good.
But yeah, no battery. So it was kind of a MacGyver moment. We had to string some cords together to run it off the battery off my vehicle that I used to take the airplane out there. But, you know, adapt and overcome, and that we did. And I got the engines running.
You did.
Which, by the way, thanks to Bjorn at RMJ Machine Works. For the rings, the engines. Once I got them running, they actually ran pretty good. Still need some break-ins, need some tinkering, but yeah, when you got there, I was very nervous.
Well, I think the biggest thing with making it difficult to start is probably how you have them set up.
That could be.
I mean, your fuel tanks leak the whole time if you have too much fuel in it.
They're set a little high.
Yeah,
they're as low as I can set them, but they are. In relation to the center line of the carburetor, they are fairly high.
Yeah.
So they do tend to want to siphon fuel into the carburetors. So that
they weep like the SR-71.
They do, actually.
Yeah. I remember that.
And they don't stop weeping until they're almost out of fuel. Kind of like an SR-71.
Yeah. If there's nothing to weep, it stops weeping.
It does. The fuel tanks are probably not in their ideal locations, and that's probably contributing to the difficulty starting. But I will, on a day when we have much better weather and warmer, where I can not have the pressure of flying the thing that day for the first time ever.
Yeah.
But you know, looking back on it, I was really nervous and focused, but you seem to be very at ease today.
Well, it was electric. I didn't have to go through all the problems that you had to deal with.
But it was still a maiden flight, right? Ron?
Huh? What?
It was a maiden flight, right?
Yeah. Define maiden for me, please.
Well, so you have a story to tell.
Well, you seem to be pushing me to tell a story.
Well, there's a story there, and you need to tell it.
So, okay.
Our listeners deserve the truth. Dang it.
There was a while there where you couldn't handle the truth. So
That's true. I was very upset about that.
You were. Which is why I wasn't even going to talk about it. But here we are. Here we go.
Well, okay, I'm over it.
We're fine.
So, and I think our listeners deserve to hear the story.
So Friday we had an ice storm. And I got everything finished on the airplane on Friday. And since we were going to be doing some video and stuff for the maidens, I took it out on Saturday because the weather was a little bit nicer on Saturday, but you had something going on, so you couldn't fly Saturday. See,
it was a family event.
Family schmamly. See how I'm making this your fault, by the way? But anyway, so Saturday I took it out and I did some taxi tests and stuff because I hadn't ever had it move on on its own.
Right.
And I kind of want to see how everything went. And I want to see how the camera mount worked and all that kind of stuff. So I went out and taxied it back and forth several times. One time when I taxied it, apparently I went a little too fast and it just jumped into the air straight up. I mean, very fast. Like I wasn't expecting it. And I kind of blame that one on you too.
Oh, jeez. It's all my fault.
You kept telling me that this is a fast airplane. You kept telling me that it was, pretty much a fast, heavy airplane, and I wasn't expecting it to go airborne at such a low speed. Like 10 miles an hour is all it took, and it just, and you've seen the video, so you know, I mean, like, it was not expected. It was completely unexpected. I was shocked. And then, so I technically flew mine. You can call it a maiden if you want to. I don't call it a maiden.
It's the first flight of the airplane. That's a maiden flight.
I didn't trim it. I didn't do it. Like, I don't even remember the flight as much as I just remember, oh my gosh, I got to get this back down and not in the trees. I've never flown.
Because that's a real concern here, actually.
I've never flown an airplane that big at this house, like ever. And I wouldn't on purpose do that.
Yeah.
Like, I've never taken a plane out there that size to fly. A little bit smaller, that I've known how it flew or how it has flown before and stuff I've done, but something like that, no. So yeah, I did that. I kind of got a little bit ahead of myself, and then I couldn't believe it happened. I came inside, called you. You were like, oh, that's cool, blah, blah, blah. And then after we hung up, you got a little upset.
Yeah, I got to thinking about it. I was like, that son of a gun. We were supposed to do this together and camaraderie and all this kind of stuff. And Ron went out and flew his airplane without me.
I fully understand that, but I sure didn't mean to.
I know.
And I sure regret that it happened. Except for the fact, today for me...
Today went really, really smoothly.
Today was kind of easy. It was easy going. I kind of knew what to expect. I wasn't as upset as you were about things. Not upset. Right. I wasn't as concerned. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Because,
you didn't have that pressure.
Mine had technically flown before.
Yeah. But at least today you got to fly it a little bit more and trim it and actually kind of enjoy the flying of it and understanding that, oh, I built this and I flew this. And
no, I actually didn't enjoy that flight, believe it or not.
Really?
Like, I'm glad I flew it. But it's still like there was just so much going on. I was nervous, like more nervous than I expected to be.
Okay.
I didn't like going into this. I didn't care if it crashed. Like, it was just one of those things. It was like, if it crashes, fine, no big deal.
I mean, you've said that before, and I get it, but that's just like you put so much time and effort and work into this thing. It's just hard to believe that you would feel that way about an airplane.
Well, I felt that way. I felt that way about that airplane until I got out and had to fly it. And then it's like everything just changes.
Okay.
And yeah, I didn't want to see it crash. I didn't really even want to fly it. But it all went well. It was a little tail heavy, and I think that's what made it not enjoyable for me.
Okay. I could see that.
Because it was difficult to fly and wasn't as fun as it could have been. We did a little bit of moving of a couple things on it, and then you flew it, and you kept talking about how well it flew and how good of a flyer it is and all that.
Yeah, I'm not exaggerating. It flies really, really nicely.
Well, so had I had another battery, I probably would have taken it up again on my own to kind of see how it went. But
yeah.
There's another day for that.
Yeah, just know that, next time, I mean, you have no issues. I mean, that airplane, I mean, wow. It really does fly nice. Probably owing to the fact that it's over 2 pounds lighter than mine.
Under 2 pounds. Just under 2 pounds.
That's right. That might have something to do with it. It has really light wing loading, but thank you, by the way, for letting me fly your brand new airplane.
I preferred it.
But it really, and I'm not exaggerating, it really does fly well. And they both do, actually. Even mine being at, we'll just say 10.5 pounds, at that weight with those engines, mine flies pretty nicely too. I'm pretty pleased. I'll talk a little bit about my first flight.
Actually, hold on. I think I just realized it is going to be over 2 pounds by the time you add your fuel, because you were dry when you were doing the weights on it.
Yeah, but you don't weigh them wet.
No, but you got to take that into consideration. Why is that? Then I shouldn't weigh mine with a battery.
No,
if we're not weighing it with fuel, that's my fuel.
Okay, so what does 12 ounces of nitromethanes or alcohol weigh?
I don't know.
12 ounces?
I thought that, but you got me. I'm sitting there thinking, well, are we talking 12 ounces of volume, or how does that work? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't know if it actually weighs 1 ounce per ounce fluid ounce. It may not, but I just thought it was funny to say it that way.
Moving on. You got me on that one.
So my first flight of the day, after I got the engines running, was aside from the takeoff.
Takeoff was strange.
Was pretty uneventful. Flew. I didn't have to add much trim. I think I got a few clicks. I had to put some down. Well, we had the camera on it, so that really kind of messed with the trim. So the second flight without the camera, I think I actually went back to neutral trim because.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. At any rate, it flew. The takeoff was interesting.
You were like, you were trying to go vertical, and you were like 20 feet up in the air before you could do anything.
Not intentionally. I'm still. I think it has something to do with the springiness of my gear, and I think actually now that I think about it,
you already start a foot off the ground.
Yeah. Well, it's almost airborne. It's just the wheels are on the ground.
Isn't that how they all are?
Because it's so tall, it's almost airborne.
Oh,
except the wheels are on the still touching ground. Bad joke. Anyway,
very bad.
I think the attitude of my airplane when it's sitting on the ground, it's actually slightly nose down, or at least it looks that way. And then when you start moving the airplane and the nose gear kind of springs back, it goes nose down even further. So it takes a lot of up elevator to kind of overcome that. And then by the time it makes it past zero and then back positive,
it just shoots
up. I think that's what's going on, which I can correct for in the future just by technique. I don't have to physically change anything about the airplane, I think.
You can raise your nose wheel.
No, I can't. It's as high as I can.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, there's no more room.
Man.
That's why I lengthened the nose of the fuselage so that I could put that really long
you
nose
might
strap.
have like a half inch or something there still.
I would have to grind some of the wing root away to clear the wheel.
Oh my god.
To make it longer.
Wow. That's pretty bad.
But at any rate, yeah, once I get past the takeoff, which was a little hairy on the first one because, like you said, it sort of jumps into the air and then it's 20 feet in the air before I even realize what's happening. But then once I level it off and kind of trim it out, it flies really nice. It's not as I have to admit that I don't think mine flies as nicely as yours does. Yours is very
why do you think that is though? Is it built better?
Well, it's lighter. Yours is built lighter. I'll give you that. Lighter wing loading. Built better.
Probably has a lot to do with the weight though. Like honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And here's something else that I almost don't want to admit, the fact that it's electric, it has that instant throttle response. There's no lag. There's no waiting for the engines to kind of clear themselves out when you go from, and mine will get better with tuning, but
yeah, you don't have to tune electric.
Yeah. That electric it's no, no lag. You give it the throttle, it's right there. So, and the fact that it's lighter than mine, it really does fly nice. I think you've got a really nice airplane on your hands.
Well, thank you.
I like mine too, but mine's faster. I think we can both agree that mine's going to be a screamer when I get all the little things worked out.
I mean, probably.
I mean, you got to and mine sounds cooler.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh no, mine sounds way cooler.
I don't know about that. I like the electric whine.
I mean, yours sounds cool, and yours has kind of this weird whistle howling noise that it makes too.
I have no clue what that is, but I like it.
I think it's the cowls, but I don't know. It's different, but it definitely has a howl,
like a whistle.
Yeah, to it. But as far as when mine is down low at wide open throttle when I'm I love that sound. It sounds really nice. But anyway,
to each his own.
So I'm very relieved. Mine has flown 3 times. I flew it 3 times today. Yours has flown now 3 times total. Flew it twice today.
Yeah.
So you guys can do the math. And how relieved are all of our listeners going to be? This is the last time they're going to have to hear us talk about these gosh darn duelists again.
Yeah, duelists are over.
Yeah. Anytime we mention the word duelist from here on out is going to be just like a footnote to that particular podcast. Oh, hey, we flew the duelist today.
Like, honestly, I was getting sick of talking about it.
Well,
I was getting sick of living it. I wanted it to be done and behind us. So I'm glad this is done. I'm glad I can say I built one from plans. And I'm glad I can say I'm moving on to build something else.
Yeah. I'm glad they're behind us. I never really got sick of talking about them because I never get sick of talking about model airplanes. But yeah, I'm glad they're done, and I'm glad we can move on to the whatever's next, which is.
Well, I've changed my mind a little bit on what's next.
Okay,
and that's your fault.
It's always my fault.
In a good way. Well, because you gave me a kit, so I have a kit I got to put together.
Yep.
I had talked about maybe doing a stick, and you had
everybody should have a stick.
Well, and you've said that for so long, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it.
They fly so nice. They're just, you just take them out there, you throw them around in the sky, and they don't have any bad habits. Everybody should have a stick.
So now I will have a stick when I'm finished with it.
Yep.
But yeah, so because of that, you gave me the kit that you had for the 40 size stick. I'll be putting that together. Great
Plains big stick 40 for anyone who's interested.
Same. That's why I said you gave me a stick, size 40 kit, whatever. So that'll be the next thing I do, and then we'll kind of go from there and see what's next. We have other things we need to work on, but
that's such an easy building kit. You'll have it framed up in an evening.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at the directions. It's pretty simple.
You're going to use the adjust-a-jig?
Absolutely.
Yeah. That'll make that go even that much quicker. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my next thing. You?
Yeah, my plans really haven't changed. So I want to finish the Horton project and get that off my table so that we can then concentrate on our next big project, which will be the a Ford Trimotor.
Yeah, so the only reason a big one. The only reason my plans changed is because I added something to it.
Yeah, you've got something that you're gonna have to fill the time with while I finish this other project. So
that's exactly what I need to do is find something to fill the time. There's so much extra time.
You gonna go electric?
Of course.
Why did I ask?
Do we even need to ask? I don't ever want to buy another gallon of nitro fuel. I would be okay with that.
You seem to waffle a lot on nitro.
I go back and forth. Like, I love the smell of it, but then I watch you deal with it and have to tune it and all that stuff. And it's like, I throw a battery in, I'm done.
No, I get it.
It's so much more conducive to enjoying the hobby, I think.
Yeah. No, I get that. If you're more into flying than tinkering, then yeah, electric is going to be easier. But I still enjoy the tinkering aspect of it. And even though you
didn't look like you enjoyed it today.
Well, I was still enjoying it, even if it didn't look like it.
Okay.
Like, I'm looking back on the day, I had a good time.
True.
All things considered, I had a fun, and hearing those engines run, so cool.
Yep.
So,
anything else?
That will do it for me. That's the last time that we're going to talk about Duelist projects. From here on out, it will be a footnote in one of our episodes. If you hear the word Duelist, it'll just simply be, hey, we flew the Duelist today, or hey, I flew the Duelist yesterday, or whatever.
Or I crashed the Duelist, or whatever.
Hopefully not that. Hopefully it's not I crashed the Duelist.
You've been there, done that. You don't want to do it again.
No, I don't. Now, you know what? I just thought of this. Now I got to find a place to store the dang thing.
Yeah, I haven't thought that far ahead. It's still in our dining room.
I'll just bring it out here. There's lots of room here.
There's no room out here. I'm full. No room at the end. Anyway, all right. Anything else?
No, that's it. Appreciate everybody. Thanks for watching this first YouTube episode of ours.
Yes, this awkward weirdness of I still don't know where to look.
I promise they'll get better. Just like if you go back and listen to our first audio only episodes, they were really awkward, and this one's probably that way too. But they'll get better. We promise.
If you've listened to anything other than the first one, don't go back to the first one.
We're gonna stick with this video format for a while. Hopefully until the end, whenever that is. Hopefully.
Well, yes.
Hopefully longer away from now rather than sooner away from now. If that makes sense.
That made no sense, but I think I kind of get the gist of it.
Yeah, so you can look for some more YouTube stuff coming from us, some how-to stuff. And from here on out, all of our podcasts will be video.
Oh, put that on me. That's the plan.
Wasn't that what you told me?
It's what I hope to do, but don't stick me to that.
Oh, my apologies. Our goal is from here on out to put the podcast on video.
Sure. No, that's the goal. You're right. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we don't like doing it in video. I don't know.
Well, you definitely don't like doing it in video.
I'm not a big fan of this yet, but we'll figure it out.
You need to figure it out because we're doing it.
Well, we can see who's pushing this, and that's okay. It's good to get out of your comfort zone.
It is.
Now, anything else? Because
No,
we said that like
that's-
5 minutes
yep.
ago, and you said no, and then you kept talking.
I did, didn't I? I do that a lot.
All right. Until next time, I'm Ron.
And I'm Tom.
Good night.
Good night.